See, when working a swing, the art is not to expend too much energy during the daytime. Otherwise, you're fucked for the night. Yo, what's going on there, YouTube? It's your boy Marcus Levy, the Angry Ranter, here for vlog 182 in the Angry Ranter Vlog Series. So, let me know below, first off, what you think about these new little intro snippets that I'm doing. Because to me, this is the new thing. Jaywalking, not illegal. Anyway, and 20,000 steps. Woohoo! Yeah. But I'm trying now to do, first off, moon. Gorgeous. But I'm trying now to do a little bit of an intro snip of like, maybe up to a minute of like preview content to kind of give you guys something, you know, before the actual discussion, because considering that little snippet that I just gave you was from this morning, actually this afternoon, and now here I am. It's trying to check the time here. Hey man, it is 11:10. 10:10 p.m. Sorry, 11:10. I'd be fucking late for work. but 10:10. I got 50 minutes, but I'm only 10 minutes away. But I'm now on my way in for shift 2 of the day, and my phone was going off the hazy these last couple days. Because I guess a bunch of people are not doing too well. Like, you know, it's cold and flu season. So I guess a couple of my peeps at the other job weren't feeling so great. So, you know, been asking me. I think I got asked about 7 times if I could come in and work at the other place, including that I was asked if I could do an evening shift tonight. And I was like, 24 hours in a row. Is that legal? No, so I couldn't. You know, they barely let us do 12s sometimes, and that's not exactly illegal. 12s aren't bad, that's why I call them marathons. The most I've ever done, or the Ironmans, are 16s. And I think I've only ever done 2 16s, and that was... and those were in very emergency-esque situations. So, it is what it is. So, I wanted to start a little bit of a discussion as I'm on my way to work about something kind of near and dear to me. And without revealing too many personal details, just because it's not important that the internet knows the exact, my exact factual situation, but if you at least know the subject matter, you can gauge from context. Why is it that in our world today we cannot just be satisfied with what we have, but we have to be satisfied with wanting bigger, better, more? Like, I get it. In one small sense, I absolutely get the attraction of, oh, the bigger TV, the newer smartwatch, the newer phone. Like, don't think I don't fall into that. I absolutely do. I'm starting now to drift a little bit away from that, asking myself, you know, do I need this thing? And then giving myself, you know, a month or more where I think about it and say, okay, will it still fill that gap that I've, you know, been asking myself about for X amount of time now? Like, for example, when I finished college, I knew if I was going to go to university, I needed a new laptop. So, yeah, I paid $1,100 and got the little tab PC set up. Which, you know, part of me on the surface goes, that ain't worth $1,100. But then when you see how much more it can do compared to what my laptop was able to do, yeah, she's worth it. She's worth every cent I paid. But then here I am almost all the time, having trouble just being satisfied with what I have. I think I gotta say that my worst issue has actually been not spending money on new objects, but spending money on food. I think food is my issue, because for me, clearly, has been a bit of a problem. And it's also because one of the hardest lessons that I'm learning as an adult now, especially since I've been one for 5.5 years now, is everything costs fucking money. And when when you grew up, like, I like to use the phrase upper low class, because it's like we ain't quite middle class. Because if you're at least because to me, the standard that puts you within each of the 3 socioeconomic groupings, not whether you're low, middle low, or high low, those are lifetime renters. Whereas middle class, even if you're low middle class, you have a mortgage. You might be struggling to pay it, but you have a mortgage on a house that you own. And if you're upper class, you have tons of disposable income, live in a place that is, live in a place that's much larger than everybody else's, and you can easily afford it. Maybe even your own custom-built place. Like that house you guys have seen when I was at my grandparents'. That is custom-built. I would put them at low-high class. Mostly because they ain't old money. My grandfather worked his butt off for years and saved like every penny and was able to build that house that they live in. Not to mention, that's like the second house they've owned in their lifetime. First one being a place they bought in 1972, and then they moved out of there 20 years after that. In late 1992. And moved into that place where they've now lived for 27 years on Halloween, actually, which I thought was interesting. Moving day was Halloween 92. So I thought that was pretty cool. 4 years before I was born, also, so. But I'd put them in a low high class situation, because really, from the description of their life story, when I've asked my grandparents about how things have been, they never really struggled with money. They just knew how to save. Didn't always go after like the latest and greatest. Bearing in mind, if you saw the basement, he's got every fucking tool imaginable. He could open up a Home Hardware. It's his thing. That's okay. Everybody has a thing. Everybody has a thing, and he hoards. It's relatively neat. Like, everything has its place and labels and everything. It's just so much. And but like for my family here, the people I live with, we've always been kind of, I like to say, upper low class, because not really ever had any extra money, not lived in the fanciest of homes, sort of took what we could afford, which was fine. It's just the matter of, to go back to the point that I was making, where I wonder why it is that we're always spending like every dollar and every cent that we have. I know for me, my biggest problem in that first year off of work, that 1 year off of work that I had, off of school, sorry, that I had, was I finally had money and nothing specific to save it for. So I didn't save it. I spent it. I upgraded everything. I bought a brand new television, kind of on a whim, after work one day. prep myself for university, also on a whim. And then, you know what, and then I kind of see it, I'm not making excuses for my impulse spending, but then that one time when my parents, I think it was 3-4 months ago, went out to buy dog food and came back with a cat. Yeah, I see where the impulse spending comes from now, because now we have a cat. She's adorable. You've seen her. But that was an impulse purchase. I was like, how do you impulse purchase a cat? Anyway. Anyway, kitten aside. I see where I get it from. But I kind of want to open this discussion now that I'm starting to feel we're entering into that age of value, as I've discussed before. What? Oh, Jesus. The commie party's out. Every American in my feed triggered. Anyway. This is when every American learns that there's a communist party in Canada. They don't ever win, but but hey. But this is kind of the situation where I realize that I need to do more in this age of value for myself in order to make sure, you don't know how hard it is for me sometimes on these overnight shifts when I'm sitting there and I get a bing bong email comes up and I check it and it's like, hey, Kudo has deals for you to upgrade your phone. Right now I can get the iPhone 11 for $0 down. And I'm like, oh. Or I can even get the iPhone 8 for $0 down at the same price of what I pay for this. So you see my problem. Okay, I saved for a while to get these bad boys back in February. Back before I did any of this Angry Ranter stuff. I had known since the memes had gone around that I wanted them. And I knew they would add immense value considering I had an iPhone for about, I think it was 4 or 5 months at that point. We're now at a year, by the way. A year with the iPhone 6S come the 18th, which will be in 6 days. But truth be told, I'm hearing of a lot of other people too who are, thinking about deleting their social medias and whatnot. I know a number of friends of mine who are all on board with deleting Facebook and stuff like that too. So I think that's fantastic. They are also seeing the same value or the same lack of value that I see in some of these socials. I think that's fantastic. I think that's great that either the message is spreading or at the very least they're kind of seeing where this bullshit is coming from. I think the problem is, at least for me, when it comes to something like Facebook over Twitter, right? A lot of people look at it as, well, I've got family and stuff on there. The way I look at it is, if family really wanted to talk to you, they would have your phone number, they would message you, they would call. I know a lot of people maybe don't like the idea of a fucking phone call, but it is what it is. It's the age of value, and that's where we live now. And so I'm not afraid to make certain cuts and changes to things that I have to do. Y'all know I've already done it. Got rid of my main Instagram, deleted, gone. Found a way to remove it from my account, so it's no longer in existence. Deleted my Facebook, and I now have all the socials that I want set up the way I want them. I might have to tweak Pinterest and tweak my Reddit a little bit, just so that I'm getting the most out of those communities as I can. But I bring myself back to the money point. Why is it that we always feel we need to buy the latest and greatest? I don't fall for these ads anymore, but why is it I always feel I need to upgrade? Ask yourself that question too. Because there are some things still in this day and age that are built for quality despite their quantity. Peace out. Check all the social media down below. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out my blog, posted on there today. And I'll see you tomorrow, 183.